We'll start recording. Well, once again, Ms. Rasa, it's a pleasure, our pleasure to invite you and having here in our online session. And since we know that you are supporting Georgian people and Georgian way of European integration, we have some questions because we see that last time maybe the concern or the Georgian topic itself somehow not so popular in European institutions, and we understand why it's happening, because we know that our friend Ukrainian has a war, and we are with them all the time, and even Georgian fighters, soldiers, they are fighting against Russia. But we would like to do everything, whatever we can do. And we openly want to have some advice from your side, what else we can do, because you know that protest is more or less almost 4 months now without stop. And then we want to understand what else we can do, even from diaspora side. We are doing some manifestation in all the cities, even in Brussels and in other cities. But just to have this topic Georgian topic, and not give this disappear at all from the European Parliament agenda, or even the other European institutions. This is very big concern of Georgian people for a moment. So thank you again, and what you can advise us, and what is your opinion, what we can do?
Yes, thank you very much, first of all, for the invitation. Myself, not only because I am from Lithuania, and Georgians and also people in countries like Moldova, Ukraine, Belarus, and Armenia, by the way, now are very close to our hearts, because they are trying to, fighting the same battle, the same fight. Be it Ukrainians losing their lives in the real war, be it people in Moldova fighting huge hybrid warfare against them. Yesterday we had in our Security and Defense Committee meeting on Moldova, what's going on is cash coming, millions of euros to pay for the votes, and so on and so on. So it's a huge battle. By the way, I will visit Moldova next week with the SEDA committee, Security and Defense Committee, and Odessa. We will have this visit. Myself, I am back from the United States yesterday. Also had meetings with our Lithuanian diaspora people. I was in Miami. So that is very important to your support everywhere. I know how our people were doing a lot during Soviet occupation. It was an important part of the fight, so it's very important to meet you and to talk about the common challenges and common activities. And I started to say that I am not only, because from Lithuania I take a lot of care or interest into this region, not only Georgia, but because Georgia now is my direct responsibility in European Parliament, because I am standing rapporteur on Georgia. What does it mean? It means that I am like a spokesperson for Georgia in AFET Foreign Affairs Committee, but not only, it's also the whole Parliament. I am responsible to negotiate all resolutions from EPP, the largest, the biggest political party in European Parliament, also communication with other groups, so-called shadow rapporteurs. And tomorrow, by the way, in AFET committee, it will be open. You can follow this meeting online. We will start first debate or introduction of this year report on Georgia, which will be official document, later voted in the Parliament. Will be voting later this year, but now just the beginning, and we will start elaborate on this draft. We already have it, and then other groups will table amendments, and we will work on that report. And this is my direct responsibility, what my responsibilities on Georgia. Another responsibility is also we have in the parliament Euronest, which is special. We have very many delegations with different regions globally, but this is assembly, not delegation, assembly for the relations with with the European Parliament and Eastern Partnership countries. They are very different, of course. Belarus, we don't have representatives from Belarus in this body, but I am vice president of that Euronest assembly. And twice a year we have plenaries or sessions held in one or another country or in Brussels, also committees, also some structure. So today we will have bureau meeting and online, and also Georgia will be on agenda there as well. So Georgia is very high, especially on my agenda, but not only. In the parliament, you know that the European Parliament, among other institutions in European Union, we are very united on Georgia. Several resolutions were adopted. I don't know if you are familiar with those resolutions, but they are, of course, it's not like executive law or something, but that is official document of European Union, and this it's important. Now about position of other institutions. You know that foreign affairs, like security and defense, according to European Union Treaty, is competence and responsibility of member states. Yes, now we have Kaja Kallas, High Representative for Security and Foreign Affairs, but she is also responsible for both, depends on both institutions, in European Commission, but also in European Council. European Council, it means member states. So without the united opinion of member states in foreign affairs, it's very difficult to act as one unity, for European Union, unfortunately. So that's why it's so important for you, especially for you, those who live outside Georgia, to be very active with with the European Union member states, and not only Great Britain is important, of course, the United States, to push them to act. For that, it's very important. I know my assistant already informed me that you have some kind of plan how to achieve the results what people are fighting for in the streets more than 130 days in Tbilisi and other places. So it's very important, to coordinate and to know to have very clear plan and what kind of messages to send to governments of the countries you live in. So in the last resolution of the European Parliament, I think it's everything put on that plan, possible plan. First of all, non-recognition of current parliament and current government and current president elected by parliament, because all arguments also we put in that resolution. First of all, because now it's election were rigged, and also because it's one-party parliament, it's not democratic at all, and so on and so on. This legitimate leader or representative of Georgian people, Salome Zurabishvili, is mentioned in our resolution, and no one other is for that. Of course, condemnation of violence, growing repressions, what they are changing now, the laws and everything, and this anti-Western and hostile rhetoric is like evidences. What is this regime about? It's very much looks like more and more to Lukashenko regime, to Putin's regime, but not to European Union member state. Why Georgia is different? Somebody say, oh, look, we are dealing with Azerbaijan, we are dealing with some Central Asian countries. Why we are so strong or very critical on Georgian regime? Because Georgia is a candidate country for European Union, and status of candidate country state is different than just other
or let's say requirements
countries.
are different.
Requirements. So requirements are much higher, and requirements for election, for democratic election, are put in those requirements. And this Georgia Dream, they know very well about this. So what is the most important? What people are asking, their demands are back on the track for European Union membership from the government and new election. So stop here a little bit. The most important for me and my advice, I don't have maybe advice, but what I would like to have from you together with the people in Georgia, be it Salome Zurabishvili, be it opposition politicians, and be it those organizations they are fighting, non-governmental or those new leaders they are fighting in the streets, how to achieve new election is the most important issue. So is the most important how to achieve, of course, pressing the current government, which is important to implement sanctions. Why it's not possible to do this for on behalf of the European Union? You know very well. Bidzina Ivanishvili have a good friend Orban in Hungary, and he is blocking all proposals for common sanctions from the EU. But in our resolution, we proposed new formula.
Individual sanctions,
not
individually countries.
Yes, 25 plus or 26 if Slovakia also, you know,
yeah,
often
it's also
is on the same line. So you could be very helpful. Letters, petitions, meetings with politicians in all EU, especially EU countries, to achieve as many as possible member states implementing sanctions. Like, by the way, Germany did. It's very important breakthrough. Baltic states we did earlier, but Germany, everybody understands that it's most powerful country, and it's very important to have Germany on board together with people fighting. By the way, you have very nice, very effective Germany, they have very effective ambassador to Tbilisi, and he's very helpful, I think, for European way for the future of Georgia.
Which was not the case in before.
So now to push all possible means, all possible measures, all possible instruments to eliminate support for regime, and now on election. So how to achieve election? First of all, I think unity of all possible stakeholders for European future of Georgia. I mentioned Salome Zurabishvili. It's up to you, of course, who can lead this fight, but she is well known. She has legitimacy as elected person, and unfortunately, we sometimes feel that opposition politicians could be more united, softly saying. They are now better united, much better than it was 1 or 2 years ago. But nevertheless, it's more unity needed. I, by the way, talked in Miami with a few of those who were invited to the same conference, and passed them the same idea, the same message. We still need more unity. Maybe this coordination, some structure, new structure, which will coordinate the efforts, will be very helpful. But also we need somebody who will represent this body in the parliament, because if very many stakeholders are coming and talking, and so coordination is vital. Coordination and some kind of structure, I think, including you, including your organizations as diaspora together. It is so important for institutions. Look, I will be very frank and open. If many here in European Union will not see the alternative, the strong alternative, which can participate in equal level with Georgia dream. Of course, it's not possible because of administrative resources, I know, but political will, support from the society, it's much more than administrative resources, I mean, to win election. So this is so important to show unity, strength, power, political will, strong people coming to Kaja Kallas, coming to Marta Kos, coming to us, coming to leaders of German, I mean, foreign affairs or somewhere else, I know, politicians, and showing that we are determined, we are strong, we know what to do. Please look, it is our plan how to achieve new elections. So this is the only way how to achieve what you want to achieve. Again, one more message, very frank and unfortunately not very maybe very pleasant. In many countries, people don't know that people still are fighting in the streets. In my country, Lithuania, people are so supportive to Sakartvelo, as we call now. So we change this, you know. And people, by the way, they correct me if I say in Lithuanian Gruzia. Everybody say no, they are Sakartvelo. So it's very good how quickly they used to this name.
And so
even in Lithuania, Sakartvelo, people don't know that in Sakartvelo people still are fighting. You are not on media, you are not on headlines, and not only because Ukraine, but because of the United States, because news are coming now from Washington, D.C. every single day. People are debating this, everything is covered, so you have to fight for attention as well, So that's why it's so important to have people here, and I have an idea, still waiting for the right time to table the right data, and to invite those representatives of those people they are fighting in the streets to the European Parliament, and to give them platform, to give them visibility, and to have them here expressing the will of the Georgian people. So maybe I will stop here because I am talking too much. But you know but you can see that I am in the content of Georgia.
Yeah, sure. That's why we wanted to have an online session with you, because actually, I fully agree, because we was have some kind of meeting with your colleagues early January and even before, and they told us that they need to see some kind of plan that Georgian people, or there is kind of alternative, all what you just mentioned actually, and even earlier in 2023, before candidacy, before Georgia was granted the status of candidate, we was meeting with Wang He team, and we explained that that might happen in election 2024, and we are preparing some kind of plan, a roadmap, a way out, peaceful way out, to return back to the legitimacy, or get some legitimate government via election. And at that time, actually, European Commission was ready to support in case they will see the majority, or let's say famous people, or the strong people who really trust and believe what they put in the plan. And now let me just a little bit explain you this memorandum that we sent to your assistant. Actually, it was created not only by diaspora and not only by our organization, but we create kind of round table, which is very difficult with Georgian. We are kind of ambitious people, South people, but still we succeed to have kind of round table, and a lot of different society and NGO sectors and some others, and even the politicians we put on this round table. only thing is that, as you mentioned, we also want to see the more united opposition rather than we have and we see now. And this is the question, what you can advise. One, I already hear that, yeah, we need to create the concrete plan and go and let's say open the door in different European institutions, says that, look, guys, we have this plan, please help us to succeed with this. And we are trying to do that. We are trying to send this memorandum to a European Parliament, to European Commission. Now we didn't yet started to consult, but we will start that. Also, in the parallel, what you mentioned about the Georgian, just to not disappear from because of this situation with USA, we fully understand, and we are doing manifestation, and also we are planning to do it more and more actively, even in Brussels and in other cities. But we want to understand what should happen. I mean, does it acceptable for example, Council or even European Parliament or European Commission if that's initiated by citizens of Georgia, this memorandum, and that has a lot of stakeholders? This is opposition who will sign, this is president, this is European institution or someone else, and some representative of the people also. Why it's important? Because we are in difficult situation now. We isolate and we didn't recognize the elected government, GD, and only people has the power to give temporary legitimacy someone, stakeholders or whatever. So that's why we started this way, to initiate this memorandum from the people and not from the top down, just the bottom up. And then including this round table, everyone, every possible stakeholders who can do. Maybe we are doing something wrong, or you can give us more advice in this direction, how to really succeed with this, because we are on the way when we will do this really openly, and in a square of Rustaveli, we will just directly discuss with the people with this memorandum, bring this kind of booklets and to everyone. So we are on this way, but before we will start, we want to really get some advice from your side also. Maybe we are missing something here. So this is my first question, and if you allow me, I want to ask you also a second question, which maybe we don't really understand. We are fully understand about this report that created by European Parliament, which says that countries need to individually apply the sanctions, and Baltic countries was the first. We are grateful and we're thanked for that. UK, we work a lot, but we succeed. So UK apply, Germany apply. But what is strange for us, we did some demonstrations, we did manifestation, everything, but we are confused from the Poland. Could you please advise what to do in Poland? Because traditionally Poland was a supporter of Georgia, and we are pretty sure that now they are supporting also us. So what we are missing here, and what we can really do to really see that Poland is applying the sanctions also?
Oh, good questions. First, yes, of course, that you are doing very well, but you know, I always am saying that we here cannot be more Georgians than Georgians themselves. So it's depend on your, I mean, how you will communicate, and it's not so important who will initiate, most important the result. And if you are on the same line, so of course leadership is needed, but to include those new people from the streets is very important. I always am mentioning and talked with the people from UNM in Miami, when I was in Miami, that it's so important from our point of view, looking to Georgia, to have all stakeholders on board, all of you. So it's no doubt, of course it's good. And what you put on this plan, I was expressing exactly the same. It's in line with this resolution, in line what we see from here, and I think in line there. But the problem always is because all of you are democratic people. So it's sometimes very difficult to be united, more difficult than in autocracies. So that's why people starting to think about the future, who will be the best in election, blah, blah, blah. And that's everywhere. It's not like very Georgian, but of course this southern blood is additional factor to be more united. So that is doable, and please do this. Talk with each other. I know that Gabrielius Landsbergis, our former Minister of Foreign Affairs, was in Georgia a few weeks ago, and I talked with him. So he's saying the same. Georgians, they need work day and night, not to leave the room until you will be everybody who wants to be on board, you have to be on this board. So please debate, discuss, fight.
Kind of British democracy,
fight,
diplomacy, sorry.
Yeah, fight among each other as long as you can, but please give us the result. So this is the only advice. I don't have any other advice. Now on Poland, yes, it's also a question mark. I don't want to be quoted that I have some disappointments, but I expected during Polish presidency some kind of more breakthrough attention. It didn't happen, and I am asking my colleagues why, so they also maybe are not able to explain. Maybe the only explanation is that everybody are looking to each other. Polish Warsaw is looking to Brussels. Brussels is also some kind of some hesitations. One of is that maybe they, as I understand, I mean Brussels, maybe in Poland the same, because they don't see strong alternative. It's not enough people in the streets. It's very important, the most important factor, people in the streets. So it's most important, most impressive. But on the other hand, people in the streets, they are not those actors, how to say, who will go to election and
that's
win
clarified.
election.
So we don't see alternative strong people, let's say leadership, who can really take on the shoulders the European integration and also fighting against the Georgian dream. That's what we are talking about.
So look, in Belarus, we were surprised in 2020. They had long-lasting, very fighting in difficult circumstances opposition, but new people came to for election, and it was like a breakthrough. Despite that it happened in a very unpleasant way, everything, in brutal way, they were stopped. But nevertheless, they have now Svetlana Tsikhanouskaya, they have now new people, they are leading this way, Belarusian way. So I don't want to have the same scenario, the same outcome in Tbilisi, in Georgia. Of course, you are much stronger than opposition was at that time in Belarus. But nevertheless, it's important combination of experienced politicians and also those who are new. People always, demand for new is everywhere. I know from myself. I am so long in politics that I know that many people think that maybe too long, but nevertheless, my experience and new faces in political party is very important. So be united, and maybe Poland and Brussels, they are waiting for strong alternative, also one of the reasons.
Okay, that's very, very clear. Thank you for your open discussion and opinion. Well, just one more question is related to again our friends of Ukraine, because we know that there is a negotiation from Trump to somehow finish this war. And I have two questions actually, because we are friends, ages, let's say, with Ukrainian, and even in diasporas, we are supporting each other during the manifestation. We are standing together, and in Georgia, in Ukraine also, there are our soldiers who are fighting against Russia, and we have communication, we have connection, and we are worrying about this situation. And we want to ask, because we see that Europe is wake up after, I don't want to say that Trump start negotiation, but yeah, it happened. But what we want to know is that real support, can Europe really support what now is under discussion? Because if it will happen, then yeah, maybe we will be happy because Ukraine can have all the support, and probably it will make some effective end of this war. And secondly, what we want to understand, you are a long time already in politics, and we want to understand what is the European understanding Ukraine wins, for example. Does it change from time to time, or just to understand? Because I mean, even in Georgia, there are, some skepticism that Europe not always looks to one way, and if they want to support some countries, they not always support. Again, we still remember 2008, and we always will remember, and then also the Ukraine Crimea occupation, and so on. So now it's really good. We see that Europe really see the Russian is dangerous, but we want to understand how Europe see, what does it mean under European understanding Ukraine wins?
Yeah. First of all, yes, situation is very different than it was in 2008, and for positive difference in understanding Russia, understanding Putin in Europe. All main political, I can feel this in European Parliament, because European Parliament is like a political kitchen of European Union. We are not maybe always decision makers, executives, but we can feel what's going on. So of course we have those from like AfD, Alternative for Germany, or Le Pen, a little bit less pro-Russian now, but AfD is most pro-Russian politicians here, but they are not majority. They are extremes, they are talking very loudly, they are screaming, they are expressing almost always Russian narratives. Sometimes we call them "Говорит Москва," because they are really saying what Kremlin wants to say. But that is reality. But the main political stakeholders again, or political parties, they are really understand very well, and Trump helped to understand even more. We are very serious now on defense and security. The message that Andrius Kubilius was nominated, got this portfolio, my good friend and good friend of Georgia and the Ukrainian also especially. So it means something. That it's very serious. It's not like, just to show stuff. Now, a little bit more, just to know. I know that you know, but nevertheless, it's important to remind. When you say Europe, so what do we mean, Europe? Because the European Union was never designed to be like a military alliance. Never. It was not and until now, it is not in treaties that the European Union have to deal with the military challenges. Never. It's up to member states. So member states are different, united, by the way, more than ever, but they are different in threat perception. It's more understanding in Nordic Baltic region together with Poland and Germany, by the way. With new government, I think, because they are EPP from the same political group, we work with Germans here in this political group, and Merz is really his determination to Ukraine was until now very, very clear, and it's most powerful country, most important country in European Union. It's important. France as well with Macron up to now. It's a little bit different, but we will not go into the details. on that. But of course, southern countries, despite that people are supportive for Ukraine, but their governments are more relaxed on that. Maybe defense spendings are not enough. So this is here where we are. So it means that European Union, we don't have like Brussels budget for defense. Never, ever had. Never. Now, a new project on Rearm EU. It is not real money yet. It's just possibilities to take those money, 800 billion from loans, grants, other possibilities to use European Investment Bank, and everything what we now working on that. And of course, most important, military industries. This is the part of European Union responsibilities, which is possible to make. Of course, speed is important, but nevertheless, I think it's going it's on a very good way. And military defense industries, they are already on the way to deliver. On the way to deliver. So this is yes. My short answer is yes. European Union is very serious on defense, and I think this moment. These years will be mentioned in the history how European Union became a defense union. It never happened before. So we are now in the beginning to put fundamentals for that. It's not easy in democracies. It's not like Putin said one word in the evening, and in the morning the whole country started to work on military economy. So it's not like this. Doesn't work like this. But if and when this process in full capabilities, I think that we will be very powerful game player in Europe, I mean European Union. By the way, it's very important to mention Great Britain. It's very important to mention Norway, Canada, other countries, and Trump here is also helpful to be as more united as ever before. With the British military capabilities, of course, we are much more powerful. Norway is not as powerful, but also it is Arctic important and everything is important. So now we are in a very interesting, by the way, time, but also enlargement, EU enlargement, which is very important for Ukraine, is like an umbrella. Also, European Union is becoming not only like for economy, but also for security and defense as well. So yes, we are very serious. I don't know if it will be easy. Of course, it will be not easy because of all other those issues, Orban, Fico election, interference, hybrid warfare, attacks against the European Union. But more Putin is attacking us, more problems with the United States, more united we are here.
That's great. It's good to hear. And one more question that is related to the same topic. It's about the European new architecture, or let's say the securizing new, let's say, Europe, even after extension from 2030, right? We partially already touched this topic, but I want to understand, does Europe really, I mean, again, what do we mean under Europe? Yeah, European Union member states. Does they really understand that for security purposes, I mean, it's not ending under border of 27 countries of member states, and it's a bit farther, like it includes Ukraine and maybe Georgia, maybe Armenia, or even Kazakhstan or whatever. I mean, what is the way of thinking Europe now about the extension of 2030 and in terms of securizing the new European architecture that is started long time ago, but it's still under way of working?
Yeah, right. Very good questions. And I didn't answer the question, what does it mean at the end of the war for Europe?
For Ukraine.
So those two questions. First, on the last one. Speaking about our defense, European Union defense, Ukraine is becoming an integral part of European Union defense structures. Everything we are now elaborating, be it white paper on defense, which was introduced a few weeks ago by Kaja Kallas and Andrius Kubilius, be it Rearm Europe, be it our debates today, recently in the morning in SEDE, Committee, Security and Defense Committee. Everywhere we now understand that Ukraine is becoming integral part of our defense, including defense industries. It's like the most important part. You know, maybe about Danish initiative, where Denmark is working already with Ukraine. I mean, producing ammunition and something else. So that is a good example. And this Rearm Europe allows loans and allows to take loans for the member states and also help Ukraine, not only for our own defense, but also to use those loans to buy something or to together with the Ukrainians to elaborate on defense, you know, and that is a lot of capacity. This is for sure. Many now understand that, majority understand that our front line is there for our defense. It would be much more expensive if we will lose this war. Now on the war. Until now, it's not yet, of course, clear, maybe common understanding. And what I was talking yesterday, for example, during the dinner with some think tanks here in Brussels about the end of the war, what is most important to have clear strategy, what do you want to achieve in terms of future of Russia. I think we would be able to win this war 2 years ago, 1 year ago, when Ukrainians pushed out of Kherson and Kharkiv regions Russian troops. That was a momentum. If at that time Washington, D.C., by the way, it's not Trump, but Biden, and in especially Germany, Scholz, if they would not be so afraid to punish Putin or to crush Putin's regime, so that would be a different situation today. Unfortunately, we are lack of this strategy, understanding that this fight is for the future of Russia as well. So here a lot to do. I am afraid the worst case scenario of this war for me would be if countries will be back to business as usual with Moscow, as Rubio now is saying somewhere, or Trump is expecting that if they will provide for Russia good economical relations with the United States, then of course many industrialists from European Union will immediately stay in line to push European Union to lift sanctions and so on and so on. This would be the worst case scenario, because then Russia will be ready for next wars, and this is bad. The strategy for better scenario, or the best scenario is including Georgia, by the way, this region, and understanding that this war is not only Ukraine, of course, is number one, to help Ukraine to win, not to lose, but to win. Of course, maximum is to liberate all territories, but we will see, you know, reality is reality, but that would be the best scenario. Moldova, to help Moldova, not to lose Moldova, to help South Caucasus with Georgia and Armenia. Black Sea region is crucially important, most important, not only for European Union, but for the United States as well, because of Iran, because of China, because of everything. So if to have in mind the battle, the scale, the scope of the battle, to win this, not to leave gray zones anymore in the European continent. This is what will be helpful, and not to allow Russia to become this colonial, imperialistic power, to increase their power and to be more aggressive, because otherwise they will be back in 5 or maybe even less years. I think we are in huge danger now. If really Trump plan will be to make a deal with Russia, and Ukraine and Putin will be strengthened. So that would be in long-term period. It would be worst-case scenario.
That's fair. That's fully clear. And I know that our time is limited, and we are again grateful for having you here. Just at the end, I want to ask one more question. It's related to Russian propaganda, because you know that it's not only in Georgia or in Ukraine, even in Eastern European countries or even Western European country. You have even in European Parliament AfD now, which is let's say German radicals, but to fight with Russian propaganda, I can say that normally we Georgians are almost with nothing. I mean, we don't have resources to really against to Russian propaganda. And to be honest, I saw, and not only me, most of the society, we see that Europe and USA, they invest something, and maybe in NGO sectors or somewhere, but we don't see the real support in direction to media or somewhere where it will be more helpful, and we probably could really against to Russian propaganda. Until now, they are so strong that we are losing like 100-0 with propaganda for a moment. And we are now really creating some products to against to this, but maybe will be good to hear, is there any plan from Europe to really support some way civil society and not the just NGO sector or someone else? Because there are a couple of projects where we can even present, if that will be needed somewhere, to let people understand how we can really win or be more stronger against to Russian propaganda. That's my last question, let's say.
Yes, it is on our agenda. You know, again, I will repeat myself, we are not executive branch of EU, but during every single meeting, last was with Marta Kos, Commissioner for Enlargement, last Monday in Strasbourg, when we were talking about enlargement, and this particular question was also very high on agenda. Then, also because USAID is stopped, also because intentions from Washington DC to stop Free Europe broadcasting or Voice of America or everything. So this is, I think many people are working very hardly how to exchange, how to support, because not only Georgia, it's about Moldova, it's about many other countries, even Northern Africa, I don't know, everywhere is, you know, the same problem, especially where regimes are brutal and brutally use media as a tool to oppress the nations. So yes, it is. I cannot answer now on very clearly, but still, I can assure you that it's on agenda. I don't know how the resources will be, all necessary requirements will be fulfilled, but it's time to reply, to ask, to apply for this. And your people know very well, those who work with non-governmental organizations, they already are there asking for replacement, for example, of funds if they stopped. And ambassadors in Georgia, they work on that. EU ambassador also and other ambassadors. I was there months ago, a little bit, I don't know when. So we talked with ambassadors, and this question also was on the table at that time.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Rasa, again for this opportunity. And just one very last things I want to share is that can we stay in touch kind of periodically, just to give you our reports, impressions, and exchange some opinions, because that's very important for us to stay, let's say, in the right way. first of all, and that's where we need good advice. And yeah, we will never give up. That's one thing that I want to deliver this message. We will never give up. And in today and tomorrow, there will be 24-hour manifestation in main square of Tbilisi, and also in many cities in Europe and USA, and even in Australia. We are planning to have some manifestation, but this is not all. It is just again the new wave that we are starting now, a new direction, including some plan or roadmap, call as we wish, memorandum, and we want to put on the plate also this as a new challenges or new way or new vision from civil society of Georgia. And yeah, once again, thank you very much for your support and for everything you are doing for Georgian people and for our
it's our common fight and common battle. We have very pragmatic interest to enlarge, I mean, Lithuanians especially, and people like me, not only Lithuania, in other countries. I have a lot of friends here around. They support the same ideas. Nevertheless, which group they represent, by the way, left or right like me, or center right. But we are very much united because it's our interest. It's our interest to live to enlarge democratic space in European continent. And of course, thank you very much what you are doing, because you are freedom fighters today, and together with us. On the concrete request for the contact, so Yulia Ravaitytė, she is here now on the online as well, connected. So she is my right hand on Georgia here in European Parliament, and please don't hesitate to call or to send emails. Let's keep in touch, and that would be, I think, very important for us.
Thank you once again for this opportunity, and wish you very nice, great day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.